Thank you, everyone. I am Judy Estrada, Communications Manager for the Arts Council for Long Beach. Our mission, the Arts Council for Long Beach cultivates the physical, social, and economic characteristics of Long Beach neighborhoods by nurturing and enlivening the arts. Our vision, the Arts Council for Long Beach envisions a thriving Long Beach that benefits from the universal participation in the arts. Arts LB overview. We serve individuals, groups, and organizations through advocacy, arts education, public art, and grant making within the city of Long Beach. We practice profound inclusion as a collaborator and convener for the benefit of all communities. Before we get started, please rename your video panel with your first name and organization or social media handle. You can locate that on the 3 dots on the right top hand corner of your video panel. For the participants list, click your name, select more, and select rename. Turn your video on, helps create a good environment for small group discussions. Place yourself on mute when you are not speaking. This helps minimize background noise and distractions. Use chat to communicate with meeting hosts if you need assistance. Reaction buttons. Locate reaction buttons and become comfortable using them. Question button. Locate the question buttons and use to ask questions. Now I'll hand it over to Lisa and Griselda to take over.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome. I see that some of you are having trouble with the chat. We apologize for that. We enabled the chat for everybody, so our apologies for that function not being available. Please use the Q&A function. That is definitely working. And I see that some of you are having difficulty finding the sign-in. Okay, so do not worry about the video. This is a webinar format, and so our slide is for meeting format, so we apologize for the confusion. And before we move on, just looking at the questions, I know there was a few that came in. You should be able to choose your language on the bottom of your screen. You can choose English or any of the other languages we have provided tonight in this webinar. We have Khmer, Tagalog, Spanish, and Mandarin. Okay. You are good to sign in if you are here with us. Thank you again. Okay, some of you are not seeing the English option, but you are hearing the English option, so I think we are good. I know some of you are on your mobile, so I think there might be different settings. Okay. And we are seeing your names as how you registered. So again, thank you for letting us know, and the confusion from the possible updates we might have done on Zoom. So apologies. I think we are good to go. I think you can hear me. and our interpreters are also doing their interpretations in their rooms. So without any further ado, we will continue with our presentation here in our Creative Core technical assistance. So you are here with us tonight as the Arts Council because we are a designated administrating organization from the California Arts Council. This program, the California Creative Core, came from much advocacy from local arts organizations like us, both in the state, but also on a national scale. During the height of the pandemic and lockdown, many of us came together to reimagine how we were going to function post closure, but also how to reinvigorate the arts community. And it was important for us to do it as a group. So we advocated on several national groups. In California, the Californians for the Arts group really advocated for a program like the Creative Core to be established. And there were two pilots, one in LA County and one in San Francisco County. In LA County, we had the program Artists at Work. And in San Francisco, the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts did a pilot in the city of San Francisco. And with much advocacy, the governor will presented information in the budget for the state to consider in the state budget, and he allocated funds to this pilot program. The California Arts Council then decided to use the administrating organization option they have in their council to provide and infuse opportunity in the rest of the state through local agencies. And so within Orange County and LA County, there is one other funder, Community Partners. Their application will be coming out in probably April. And then there's another funder, 18th Street Arts in Santa Monica, but they are a state funder. And so they are doing a state program. We can also provide their links for you in a follow-up email. So the Creative Core is a $60 million allocation. And there are a total of 14 organizations specific to regions in the state of California. And so our region is LA County and Orange County. Artists have the opportunity to apply to many programs. So 2 in this region, including 3 statewide projects. However, because we want as much money to go to as many people, the California Arts Council is asking artists and organizations to only accept 1 award. So the opportunity is vast. You can apply to many, but you can only accept 1 award. In addition to this $60 million allocation, the Governor Newsom wanted to ensure that this Creative Core was centered around a few priorities. And so as we created the application, and if you have had the chance to look at our guidelines, you will see these priorities are mentioned a few times. And so I just want to make sure that we emphasize tonight that artists and nonprofit organizations must address 1 or more of the following topics: public health awareness and messaging to stop the spread of COVID-19, public awareness related to water and energy conservation, climate mitigation, and emergency preparedness, relief, and recovery. In addition, artists and nonprofit organizations can also address civic engagement, including election participation, social justice, and community engagement. The way I look at this and other words I've used to describe is that these priorities are centered on health justice, environmental justice, social justice, civic engagement, emergency preparedness, and awareness of the impact of COVID-19. You only have to address one of the topics. These are really broad, and so please do not feel like you have to address each of them in your proposals. In addition, organizations and artists must be located, work with, or serve areas in LA County and Orange County that are placed within the lowest quartile in the California Healthy Places Index. This is a new part to the grant process for the California Arts Council. If you applied to California Arts Council in the past, this is a new element. And so we're going to take some time to go over how it looks, what it is, and we will answer questions at the end of the presentation. So Lisa, please share more about the Healthy Places Index.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So this is a screenshot of what the dashboard looks like when you go to the Healthy Places Index. And we can put a link to this index in the chat as well so that you can look at it yourself. And so as you can see, there's different colors on the map, and the dark blue, which is the lowest 25 percentile, that is what is considered the lowest quadrile of the Healthy Places Index. And so those are the areas that this grant is intended to focus on, with the organizations that are applying, the communities that are being served, and the artists that are applying. So organizations need to be located in their physical address, or work with or serve these areas that are in the dark blue in either Los Angeles or Orange County. The Places Index shows the whole map of California, but it's specific for the Arts Council's grant. It's specific to just Los Angeles and Orange County. As we stated, there are some statewide and other regional programs, so they would focus on other areas, but everyone across the board for this grant is using the Healthy Places Index. And so artists must be located in, work with, or serve these areas as well. So when you go on to the Healthy Places, you can zoom in and really look into the nitty gritty and see the details. Here, this was based on tracks. If you look on the top right side where it says select geography, you can also search by zip code. You can search by, this is the census tract. There's different ways to search this map. You can also just type in an address or type in your zip code. And we will be giving a little bit of additional information about using the Healthy Places Index. But in general, you can look at the map and see what areas are within that 25%. The way that the Arts Council for Long Beach is going to be determining eligibility is in the grant application. We will have some questions. So the California Arts Council's guidelines for the Creative Core program use the Healthy Places Index to determine, they want us to use the Healthy Places Index to determine eligibility, so that this program is benefiting those that are in the lowest quadrile of the HPI index, in the lowest 25%, the blue area, the dark blue area. So on the application, the Arts Council staff is going to review the applications, and we're going to look at the address that you put for the organization or the artist address. We're going to look at zip codes served, and we're going to look at the section on community and audience served and target audience. So those are the areas that we are going to be looking at when you're filling out your application to assess eligibility for the program. And so the next deadline that's coming up is the community organizations. We're starting with that application first. The application is now up on the website, so you can actually start filling it out today. The deadline is March 6th. And so why would a community organization or nonprofit want to apply? How will they benefit from this? So nonprofits will have the opportunity to collaborate with an artist. We really see this program as an artist residency program. So the organizations do not need to have a project to apply. The artist will be proposing the project. The organizations will receive a $30,000 grant that will go towards whatever costs are incurred as a result of the program, excluding project and also the artist fees, because those will be paid for separately. The community organizations will also be receiving professional development for the 1 year of the artist residency project program. So who is eligible? What nonprofits are eligible? So we are looking for nonprofit organizations that are focused on their communities. Some examples are community-centered organizations, social service organizations, cultural organizations, arts organizations, health-centered organizations, environmentally focused organizations, or organizations promoting social justice. We're looking for organizations that have strong ties to their communities, and organizations need to either be a 501c3 designation or have a model fiscal sponsor agreement with a fiscal sponsor agreement with a partner. And we're looking for small, medium, and large size organizations. So how are we going to be evaluating these applications? I'm starting with the community organizations, and then I'll get to the artist section next. So we will be putting together an independent review panel who will review all of the submissions that meet the eligibility requirements. These panelists will score each application based on this criteria. So it's up to 30 points. So the first section is the quality of the organization's program activities. So they can get up to 10 points for that section. Do they have an established ongoing relationship with intergenerational community, with recognized leaders that reside in the lowest quadrile of the Healthy Places Index? This will help define the needs and opportunities and help to develop strategies and infrastructure for them to respond to. And we're also going to be looking at the documentation that's submitted for this section as well. Another 10 points for organization management. Is this a sound organization? Do they have sound management structure as shown by program planning? Are required qualifications and effectiveness of program staff or volunteers in relation to standing practices in the fields? Do they have a proven track record in promoting and completing previous programs? And is the budget information complete, correct, and fully disclosed? And the last 10 points are for community impact. What are the short and long-term impact in the identified areas of interest? And again, these are the 4 main areas that Griselda mentioned before: public health awareness as related to the spread of COVID-19, public awareness related to water, energy, conservation, climate mitigation, and emergency preparedness, and emergency and relief and recovery, civic engagement, including election participation, and social justice and community engagement. And then we're also be going to looking at administrative and program personnel that represent diverse composition. So now the application for artists and performers. So why should artists apply? Artists will have the opportunity to collaborate with a nonprofit organization. Artists receive a grant of $50,000 for that 1 year partnership program. And artists will also receive professional development. The application deadline for artists is May 1st. We have not opened up the applications yet for artists. Artists will need to select an organization, a first and second choice that they would like to work with. So first we need to finish the organization nonprofit application, finalize those organizations, and then we will post those and artists will be able to apply with for one and then a backup organization. So who is eligible with artists? Artists need to be Los Angeles.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's now Spanish over your voice in the English room.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
There is Spanish interpretation in the English room. Yes, see? Lisa, there was Spanish interpretation in the English room, so I wonder if there's something that, and it just happened. Okay, thank you.
Has it been corrected? Okay, we'll continue. So eligibility, artists must be Los Angeles or Orange County based, and that's documentation showing residents of either Los Angeles or Orange County, or that you work with Los Angeles or Orange County residents. That'll be a requirement. Artists must be located in, work with, or serve the areas with the lowest quadrile of the Healthy Places Index. That's what we showed in the map for. It is open to cohorts of artists, not just individual artists, and it's open to all types of art. Cohorts are defined in this program as a group of up to 8 artists, such as performing artists, artist troupes, bands, collectives, and collaborations. And please note that artist cohorts will need to have a valid business license. So how will the artist applications be evaluated? Again, this will be a 30-point artists will be able to receive up to 30 points. The first 10 points will be based on the project. So is the project innovative, creative, unique? Is it sustainable if it's chosen to work with the organization? The sustainability of the proposed project to the specific topics, the feasibility of the proposed project within the submitted budget, benefit of the project to the targeted audience other than Los Angeles or Orange County communities, identified short and long-term impact of the project on identified community/target audience, and artist's personal or professional connection to the community and its cause. The second 10 points will be on artistic merit. So the artist's work reflects a high level of artistry or craftsmanship. The artist's statement, resume, and artistic samples relate to one another. An artist statement engages the reader, is clear, and explains the goals and motivations of the artist's work. And the last 10 points will be about the background of the artist. Does the artist have formal training, apprenticeship, or practice in their respective discipline? Do they have several years of productivity and achievement in professional venues? And do they have a contribution to the identified community through workshops, exhibiting locally, etc.? And I do want to just speak to, we will be having some one-on-one sessions available to assist artists with photography of their work, and also to assist artists with their resume and artist statement. So we'll be releasing those soon so that you can sign up and get some one-on-one assistance as well. So how do you apply for this? Where do you find it? The application is now up on the website. It's artslb.org/creativecore. You need to create an account first. So we have a new grant making system, and so you will need to create an account. This is what the sign up will look like when you create the account. You'll need to verify your account through your email. Please do check your spam. A lot of times the verification email is sent to spam. And then Once you verify your account, you'll be taken to an eligibility quiz. That'll be a few short questions that'll identify whether you're eligible for the grant. And then it'll move into the application, and you will fill and submit that application. You will receive a confirmation email with a copy of your application. So what does the program look like? So we opened up and published the guidelines February 6th. Although the artist application is not open, you can see the questions in our guidelines. So if you download the artist guidelines, all of the application questions are there. So you can start preparing now for the application. Today you are here for our virtual technical assistance workshop. We will also be doing another workshop in person on February 18th. We will be doing an Instagram Live technical assistance workshop on February 23rd. And as I stated, March 6th is the nonprofit deadline. We will be having additional workshops for artists. March 9th, March 30th, we'll be doing a budget workshop for artists and documentation workshop. The artist deadline is May 1st. And the program will take place July 2023 to June 2024. So it's a one-year program, a one-year artist residency program. So we would love to invite you to join our next info session. Griselda will be at that info session. I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about that.
Thank you, Lisa. So in this info session, it is at the Queer Mercado. We are in partnership with them. It will be in East LA at the East LA Civic Center, and the info session will be at the LA County Library, which is in the Civic Center area. So we invite you to look at the Queer Mercado Fair. It's a craft fair, makers fair, artist fair, and it's a short session, 1 hour to have Q&A, to give everyone an overview of the project. So please share this with other nonprofits that you may know and other artists. We will also be doing more tabling outreach like this throughout the spring, including in March and in April. So come learn more about our partner, the Queer Mercado, and also about the Creative Core. Lisa, do you have other slides?
We will be doing another info session on our Instagram Live. So that will be next Thursday, February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. So you can join us on our Instagram, ArtsLB. And if you would like to get more information about the program, again, the website for the Creative Core is artslb.org/Creative Core. If you have questions, you can email grants@artslb.org, or you can give us a call and we can help you out that way as well. We also have an online form on the website where you can sign up for updates. I highly recommend signing up for that form, as we will be sending out updates. We will send out this video recording to the folks that have signed up. When the application opens, we will send that information. And we will also be sending out any information about future workshops and one-on-one sessions that we have available. Now we can open up for any questions. We've been answering questions in the chat if you would like.
Yes, thank you so much. I just also wanted to give everyone a visual of our website, and Lisa talked to it being live. Yes, it is. It is live. We have our guidelines. We have the nonprofit application. The artist one will go up. And part of it, we have a question in the Q&A about the info sessions. And so this is regional funding. And so we want to go out into different communities to share this news. So the information will very much be the same, but it is an opportunity for us to meet other people, meet new artists and organizations who do this kind of work. And if you want to meet them as well, we invite you to join those sessions. I've shared the, here's the sign up that Lisa talked about if you want more Creative Core updates. And this will also be the site that will house and announce grantees, and as we move forward, the ongoing projects. So I just wanted to make sure that this will be a important website to bookmark and to follow, and get all the information you need. We can also take just a moment. I see some questions being answered already via the Q&A. And Lisa, if we can maybe take this one live while we also share the Healthy Places Index, that'd be great.
Yes, so the last question is, if an arts organization receives an award and has its own artists, is it still open for other artists to apply? So the organization is not selecting the artist. This is going to be somewhat of a matchmaking opportunity. So when an organization applies, they are saying, I would like to host an artist, and I'm open to the artists that are selected by the committee. The organization is welcome to send the artist application to artists that they work with, and those artists are welcome to apply, and highly encouraged if there's those relationships established. But the organization is not selecting the artist.
Judy, please let us know if there are any other questions that come up. Lisa and I, we know that it could be, if you have been applying, like I said earlier, to the California Arts Council, you may have seen how their applications have changed, but a very new element is the California Healthy Places Index. And it is a really large index. It takes a moment to load. So you might be seeing a blank screen for my desktop right now. Can you see the map yet?
The map is showing for me. Is it
Okay,
not showing for the folks?
Wonderful. It just says that it's taking some time to load. So maybe there's a little delay. So as you can see, every region is going to have to look at their tracks. And some of you may be data enthusiasts. You might really love data. And so there's really wonderful ways to look at our communities through these indicators. The indicators that are part of the application are also listed here. Environment, education, social issues, neighborhoods. So there's a lot here that you can choose, look through. And like Lisa said, zip codes, cities and towns. And so what I would say is, if you start looking around and researching and doing some data pulling, and you might see that you live 1 block away or on the other side of the street of a blue zone, we want to make sure that it's clear that the application, you may still apply if your work, your impact, your artwork, your practice is in the blue area, or the 25th percentile, or the lowest quadtile. There are many words that are being used. And so the first time Lisa and I were looking through this, we were surprised at some of our own neighborhoods here in Long Beach. And I grew up in LA. And so I was like, wait a minute, it's not a blue zone. But when you start looking and digging the data, you will see that, there are many areas here. And there was an earlier question about, can I apply to more than one program? And so, we are one of 2 possibilities for artists to apply to. If you apply to the Community Partners program, they will also be using this index. And so it is possible for you to apply for more than one. It is possible for you to work in other communities. You're just because say you're a selected artist in Long Beach, doesn't mean that you might work with an Long Beach nonprofit. There might be a match for you elsewhere. So it is a wide scope, and I just wanted to make sure that that is clear. And if you have any questions, please let us know.
And just to reiterate with the other programs, there is a question here about, do you know if community partners will have the same guidelines? Each administrating organization has their own guidelines and own program design, and it will be different from our guidelines. We do need to stick to the California Arts Council's main guidelines, but their program is designed slightly different from our program. You are welcome to apply for multiple administrating organizations. However, you can only accept one award. So keep that in mind when you're applying. The timeline is different for each application. Community partners application is going to be opening later in the year.
All right, so Judy, have you, just so that I know Lisa and I have been presenting, and I just want to make sure, have we answered all the questions? Are there others or clarifications we need to make? I think I see some new questions. I'm going to go to the newest one, and then maybe Judy can help us see if there are other ones we missed. This is from Javier. Would the artist still be considered if half the community work they have done outside of the country still focused in communities with little to no access to the arts? Okay. So your experience or your practice as an artist, this is what I get from the question. Your experience as an artist, your practice as an artist has been outside of the United States of America, still focusing on those communities. And now my assumption is that you're here now doing the similar work. And so we will be looking at the work here. Your documentation, your application, where you talk about your experience, will be considered, but we will ultimately be looking at where your impact is now. Lisa, any thoughts about that?
I agree with what you're saying. And I think the question said if half, or, you know, so as long as there is some demonstration that there is working within these communities, we want to make sure that there's some precedent established and that there's some relationships built. So it doesn't need to be all of your work as an artist, but if there's some relationships established, that would be ideal, so that there's some cohesion in terms of the matchmaking happening.
All right. If my organization is, this from Cara, if my organization is chosen, will we have input into the type of artists who would be assigned to us? Lisa?
I think we're still working through that process of how the matchmaking will work. We want to make sure that the organizations, that it's a good fit. We don't want to just assign an artist at random to an organization where there's no relevancy, there's no, you know, cohesion. So that part of the process we're still working through a little bit of how we can make sure that that matchmaking happens in a way that everybody's happy with, and that it's a good fit for both. What we will be looking at is the organization's mission, the communities that they work with, and the areas that they are specifically working in within those 4 different categories. And we'll be matching artists that fit best with it, that have similar values, similar mission, and that there's some cohesion there. So it's not going to be just a random artists that there's no basis, no past relationship working with the community. So that is our goal, is to have the best match possible.
And yes, everyone, thank you. We did have a change again in Spanish to English, English to Spanish rooms. Apologies. Don't know how that is happening. But I appreciate everyone's patience with that change. Let's
Do I need to repeat? I think I should repeat the answer.
Sure.
So the question was about the organizations and the artists, and will the organization have a say on the type of art? And my response was that we are going to be looking at the organization's mission, the communities that they work with, and what area of those 4 different categories they work with. And we're going to want to match the artist that has the best match to that organization in terms of the artist's values align with that organization's mission, that artist has experience working with that community or similar communities, and there's an alignment in terms of the project with what projects that organization is working with. So we want to make sure that there's some cohesion. We don't quite know yet exactly how that process is going to work out, but it will be a matchmaking process, and we will do our best to make the best match possible.
All right. Thank you for saying that again, Lisa. It may be triggered. I've noticed twice that it might be triggered when you mute. I don't know why, but last time happened too. So we can see. Is the program designed, Cody, is the program designed by the artist? Like the artist come up with the concepts to address the community needs? Let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the artist is coming up with the project. So the artist is proposing a project, they're proposing a budget, and they are going to choose which organization they're applying to work with this project for. And they'll be able to have a second alternate choice of organization as well. So it is the artist that's choosing the project, not the organization. The organization is saying, I'm open to working with an artist and having an artist come as an artist residence. And I'm open to what that artist wants to bring. And so I think it takes a little bit of vulnerability on the part of the organization, where the hope is that an artist will bring something new that maybe they would have never thought about. And so that's sort of the goal, is that artists have these creative ideas, and if an organization hasn't worked with an artist before or hasn't worked with certain types of artists, you will hopefully, the ideal situation is you get something that you never would have thought of, some creative idea that's somewhat of an outside perspective, so that you're pushing the way that you've always done things and trying something new.
And in addition to that, I want to say that once awarded and once paired, there will be time for the organization and the artist to work together. So the artist is not only going to do their project as first proposed and envisioned. It is collaborative. It is a process where the organization will work with the artist for the final product. And so it will very likely change and shift and grow. And so the proposal, part of it is for the panel to have an understanding of your work. But in the end, when you are paired and you're working for that 1 year, it is a collaborative effort with artists and organizations.
I do see a couple of questions from Kate. So it says, Long Beach neighborhoods include multiple colors. Can your project include an entire neighborhood that is partially in the lowest quadrile? Yes, that's correct. We do anticipate that There will be other folks served that are not just in the lowest quadrile. And as you can see in the map, you know, there are instances where when one address is 1 block away and they're in the light blue instead of the dark blue. And so as long as the project does serve the lowest 25%, it doesn't need to be the whole project, but part of the project needs to be serving that group. And then the second question from Kate is, you mentioned intergenerational orgs. Do the projects need to be multi-generational, or can they specifically be for kids or for seniors, for example? So the project should align with what the organization already does. So if, you know, the organization already works with seniors, it is possible to bring kids in and do a multi-generational project, but it's not necessary. You could work with the population that the organization already works with. It doesn't have to be, but we do want to encourage multi-generational projects as well.
Okay. So I'm just looking over the questions to see if we missed anything. And also see if let's see here. Okay. Okay, there are a few more questions. There were some repeated questions, so I just want to make sure. All right, so let's go with Gary Alvarez. Can you repeat when the selected orgs will be made public? Okay, can you go over that timeline again?
Yes, I don't think we actually did say that in the slide. So our timeline is the application for organizations closes on March 6th. We will be reviewing towards the end of March, and then we will be opening up in early April the application for artists.
Okay. Kate had another question. And I don't think we answered it when you spoke, Lisa. Can a project include an entire neighborhood that is partially in the lowest quadrile?
Yes, I think I did answer that one in saying that we want to just make sure that the lowest quadrile is served through part of the project. It doesn't need to be the whole project. So as long as that there are folks that are being served, the goal is, you know, this funding is, we want to make sure that it's reaching folks that are most impacted by all of these different factors that would make it in the lowest 25%. So that is the goal. So obviously if it's, you know, one participant that's in the lowest quadrile and everybody else is, you know, not as impacted, that would probably not make it as strong of an application. But as long as there's demonstration that there are folks being served within that that area.
And then can you share how the applicant will share zip codes on the application?
Yeah, so there is a question about zip codes in the application. And so there's 2 questions. One is, well, three that we will be looking at. One is physical address as put in the application. The second will be a question about zip codes that you work with. And then a third will be about communities that you work with. So those are the 3 questions that we'll be looking at. So making sure that it's clear in those questions that you're working with those in the lowest quadrile.
And I think the last few questions here are probably ones we might also need to follow up on. So one of them is, if a person currently works in a certain organization or city and placed in a different city, are they able to decline the placement? And so I think that's maybe a more complicated answer, especially since we're going to have to find placement for the artist. And so we're going to take that one. We're going to take that one and also check in with our other partners and see how we're all addressing it. I think it might be an issue that's going to hit the entire program, so we will follow up with that one. And the other one is, just to clarify, I think anonymous attendee is asking, what if the nonprofit organization houses artists already? And should they apply for it separately? So if you could re-ask your question, just so that we have a good understanding of what it is, we want to give you the clearest answer possible.
I think the way I understand this question is that they're asking if they should apply as a nonprofit or as an artist cohort. And this question has come up before as well. And I think it's very personal to the organization. So if the organization wants to host an artist, then they should apply as a nonprofit. If they want to apply as an artist or artist cohort because they want to propose a project, then they should apply as an artist or artist cohort.
Okay. And then I know you had answered the question about if you are an arts organization and have your own artists. If you are selected as an organization and you are an arts organization, we will be asking who on your team, they can be an artist, a performer, will be the lead or the contact, right? So they can be selected. You will still be awarded or offered a relationship with another artist who's applied for the artist call. So, you know, it goes both ways. And this is kind of going to the last question. Oh, I see another question. This is great. I love the questions. When you say collaborative, will the organization have the right to modify the artist project if the organization feels adaptations might be better serve the organization's community? Yes, so it's a collaborative relationship. As you read the guidelines, you will see the words, and maybe Lisa, we can, you know, highlight this. The language in the guidelines state that the final project is a collaboration between the organization and the artist. And so the proposals in the artist application are conceptual. There are concepts, things that you could imagine to address these priorities. However, ultimately, as the Arts Council, we know as the funder and grantor that the project will change because of this collaboration.
And in addition, we will be having professional development and mentorship throughout the program. And so the idea of that is to make sure that the organization and artists are really working together, having a cohort of artists and arts administrators that are regularly meeting and brainstorming and collaborating, and having a series of workshops that help to hopefully continue the project beyond this funding. If the relationship is working well, if there's other grant opportunities to apply for, if there's ways of getting artists to learn how to market themselves, those type of professional development, so that the idea is that maybe this project could continue beyond the year-long program.
From Kate, if the artist is not currently serving areas in the Lower Quadtile, can they still apply to be matched to an organization serving those populations? So this is where artist practice and history of the practice comes into the application. Lisa, do you want to talk about how this could happen?
Yeah, so the artist would not be what's the word, disqualified, but they could still apply. But if you look back at the criteria for evaluation, there is a question there about serving, you know, that lowest quadrile. So it will be part of the evaluation criteria. So as panelists are reviewing the applications and comparing them, the scoring will probably indicate, you know, higher towards those that are working with groups within that 25 lowest 25%.
And we got some clarification. So I meant so Cornelia, you said, I meant as an artist associated with an organization, for instance, an ED or board member. Okay. So if you are an artist associated with an organization, you do not have to apply as the organization. You can apply as an independent artist that wants to participate in the creative core. And so those are decisions that maybe we can walk on, or, you know, give you advice on one-on-one, and learn more about that situation. Cody, should we allocate funding for the nonprofit in the artist budget? No. So the great thing about this project is that as the Arts Council, we are essentially selecting 2 grantees. There will be 2 separate contracts. One for artist organizations, where we'll be providing funds to the nonprofit directly, and one contract to the artists, where we will be providing that information directly.
In addition, we will be providing project funds as well, on top of the 30,000 for the organization and 50,000 for the artist. So there will be designated project funds that will be available as well.
Yeah, the goal of the California Creative Corps is to give artists the time to dedicate themselves to create something for these priorities and to highlight these priorities and uplift communities. And so the $50,000 grant to the artist is for their own expenses, however they feel fit, like however they see fit to spend. That's why we're asking for artists to work on a budget, think about budget, because we will have project funds to an amount, as Lisa has said, to provide in addition to this. So overall, the project will have a large budget, right? So the other question is, like, how can an organization use $30,000? What's that breakdown? These are operational, programmatic, supportive costs. The organization will get to decide how they spend those funds, but they will need to dedicate a lead staff member to be the contact for the organization and to work as the contact for the artist. And so a simple way of looking at that is that it's paying for that person's time, but there are other decisions that the organization can decide how to use those funds. How many projects will be funded? Kate would like to know.
So we will be selecting 30 organizations and 30 artists/artist cohorts. So it'll be 30 projects. I think we answered Lucas's question as well.
If there is Alexi, if there's already an ongoing artist project in a heavy blue zone in collaboration with nonprofits, can this project be submitted for this program?
So this is kind of a 2-step phase. So the organization would need to apply and be one of the 30 accepted organizations. And then the artist would need to also apply, and that project would need to be the one that's selected. And so this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because this is a pilot program. So I think a lot of people have things that they're already working on, things that they've envisioned, partnerships that they've already got in mind. And so it's a little bit tricky because it's not necessarily funding that existing partnership. It could work out that way, but it's not guaranteed that that's how it would work out. And I think when we think of it as an artist residency, it makes it a little bit easier to imagine how this project or this program will roll out, because it's really the organization saying, you know, I'm open to hosting an artist for a residency, and an artist saying, I want to collaborate with an organization.
All right, everybody, I think we've answered the questions. And we have a few more things for you tonight. A few more, some information about the Arts Council as we exit, but Lisa, I think you also have a quick survey.
Yes, there's a 4-question survey that will open up after we close the webinar. And if you could please answer those questions, it will help us to be able to make sure that the program, you know, information that we provide in the future is the best for everybody.
All right, so I'm going to also stop recording since all the information, we have another question has popped up. All right. Oh, thank you, everybody. Does the organization select the area of impact?
Yes, that is one of the questions on the application, is what area of impact do you already work with? So in a way, yes, it's not necessarily that they're saying this is the area that I want, but what you're already doing.
Right. We are offering priorities, like what are your top 2 priorities, so that we have an understanding of the issues within the community. So we will get input from the organization. As soon as I was like, okay, all right, thank you, everybody. Yes, I'm going, you're welcome to stay on and join us in further conversation. But thank you so much for joining us tonight in this Creative Core technical assistance.